After completing the last activity, you should have an idea. The activity is meant to illustrate the idea that all laws come from somewhere. They don't just appear out of thin air, and they're usually based off some event or some reason or some desire of society. Even the laws that were fake, you could make a justification for why that law would be real. And that's because laws are based on the values of the people. And we really can break it up into three categories: economic values, political values, and social values. And when we talk about laws based on economic values, we talk about laws that deal with wealth. Okay, and even that we can break up a little bit. First of all, laws that deal with how we earn our wealth. Not that there's necessarily a law that says you must earn your money in this way, but we do have laws that say that you cannot earn your money in certain ways. For example, dealing drugs is illegal. And so selling illegal drugs is a way that you can get in trouble for earning money. You can go along with other things like stealing or selling guns illegally or prostitution and other ways that are illegal even though you can earn money. So that's the first way that laws are affected by economic values in terms of how we earn our wealth. We also deal with laws that determine how we protect our wealth. Okay, so that comes in different forms. So we come up with the idea of we have private property, and private property is protected, and so there are laws that do that, and there are different ways that we protect private property. We have criminal laws, such as that against robbery or burglary or theft. We have civil laws in which you can sue people if they violate your private property rights. If someone would damage your property, for example, you could be sued in a civil court. We have ways to protect private property before anything happens to it, like copyrights and patents and trademarks. Your money is protected in a bank through the FDIC, which is a program that says that deposits in a bank is they're all protected up to a certain level, and if that bank would go under, the federal government will replace your money. We have even an organization, the Security and Exchange Commission, that oversees the stock market to make sure that everything's fair and that people's money is protected. Okay, so we protect wealth using law. And then finally, we have laws that deal with how we spend our money, and oftentimes this is kind of a mirror image of how you cannot earn money. You also cannot spend money in these manners. For example, you can't hire a hitman. You can't buy drugs. You can't pay for a prostitute. So in these ways, economic values impact the law. We also have laws based on political values, and these are laws that deal with the relationship between the government and its citizens. And if you think about it, there are a lot of things that the government requires you to do. And, for example, boys turning the age of 18 are able to vote, as are girls, obviously. You're allowed to vote. We have some specific situations in which you are not allowed to vote. If you just move into a state and have an established residency there, if you're not registered in a certain amount of time before the election, but in general, voting rights are afforded you as long as you're a citizen in good standing. Now, a convicted felon can't vote in the United States, for example, though, so there are limits to this. The government forces you to have licenses to do certain things. For example, a hunting license or a fishing license or a driver's license. Now that's affecting you as an individual, but it also could affect a business. For example, a business that wants to serve alcohol has to have a liquor license. Okay, individuals and businesses might have to get a permit to build or pass zoning laws in order to add on to a building. So the government requires you to do that. 18-year-old boys have to register for the Selective Service when they turn 18. You have jury duty as a responsibility you have as a citizen. And so these are all based on political values, and there's other examples, but the idea is that these laws kind of maintain the relationship between the government and its people, and they require you to do certain things. In Pennsylvania, for example, you have to get your car inspected. In Westmoreland and some other counties, you have to also have an emissions test on your car. You have to have insurance on your car. So these are all laws based on political values. And then the third and final category are laws that are based off social values. And these are laws that deal with issues, often controversial, that are important to society as a whole. Okay, and sometimes these change over time. A hot button issue often is gun control, and so any laws that are built off of gun control based on social values are going to be controversial. And oftentimes when we're talking about these types of issues, they are things that have two very opposite sides. You have those people who believe we should ban guns altogether. You have those that believe that there should be no restrictions whatsoever on the ownership of guns. And then obviously a lot of people are in the middle, which is often where the laws fall, just because, laws are based off of the values of the people. Gay marriage is another controversial issue. Immigration, marijuana legalization. In 2012, both Colorado and the state of Washington legalized recreational use of marijuana. And so, these are all laws that are created, based off the values of the people in a society. And so, the point in the end is that laws don't just fall out of thin air. They have a basis somewhere, and even looking back in retrospect, regardless of how silly a law seems, there was some basis for it at some point. And so we have to realize that laws are born from the wishes of the people.